All right. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are back on the record in State of Indiana versus Richard Allen. Show the defendants here in person with counsel. State is here by the elect and his deputies. The jury is here. Are we ready to begin?
Judge, can we approach just briefly just to address the court?
Sidebar conference conducted.
Judge, the state's case today, we've got officers to testify, and then we're going to go to the CSI officers that examine the scene. There's going to be a lot of photos of it.
Okay.
Our next witness after that is coming from 2 hours away. I assume that would take the whole day. So I have him coming at 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So if I see we're getting done early, I can call him and give him, are you giving some thought about giving the jury a mental break after they see the crime scene photos?
Okay.
I don't know all the timing. We still might be in a position where we ask the court to recess a little early today
Okay.
if the next witness isn't here.
Okay. And I'm meeting with media representatives at noon to give them back their equipment.
They filed another motion, or somebody filed a motion last night.
The motion to intervene, yeah, whatever, who cares? I'll deal with that later.
Just trying to give you a heads up.
Okay. All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sidebar conference concluded.
All right, well, thanks for the update. Are we ready to bring the jury back in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Folks, we ready?
Yes.
All right. Gentlemen?
All rise. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'll let you get all settled in there. Ladies and gentlemen. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to see you back this morning. I know that we had an activity planned for you on Saturday that you all took advantage of. We also provided an opportunity for you to spend some time with your families on Sunday. And I know several of you were able to have your family members come down. I know that your family members were told and honored the court's directive that they weren't to bring any telephones or anything when they came to visit with you, and you were constantly monitored under the supervision of our 3 bailiffs while you enjoyed your family time. And since we have parted company for several hours and had that opportunity to have some contact with outside folks, I'm going to ask each of you collectively as a group the following questions. Ladies and gentlemen, have you read, seen, or heard any media accounts concerning this case?
All jurors respond in the negative.
Have you discussed this case with anyone?
All jurors respond in the negative.
Have you permitted anyone to discuss this case with you?
All jurors respond in the negative.
And has anybody persisted in attempting to discuss this case with you?
All jurors respond in the negative.
And have you conducted any research into this case?
All jurors respond in the negative.
All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your continued compliance with the court's orders regarding outside influence. Again, it's important that you make your decision on what you see and hear in the courtroom, not on any outside discussion. So I appreciate that you continue to comply with the court's directives. We are ready to begin. Mr. McClelland, you may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would call Darron Giancola, please. Deputy, are you as comfortable as you can be in that chair?
As I can be, yes.
Okay, going to ask you to speak up the best you can. The microphone amplifies for the audience, but it doesn't for us, and defense and the jury, and so everyone needs to be able to hear your answers. Fair enough?
Fair.
All right, will you state your name, please?
Darron Giancola
And how are you employed?
with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office.
And what is your rank with the Carroll County Sheriff's Department currently?
Currently a detective
And how long have you been employed total with the Carroll County Sheriff's Department?
since 2011, but in there was a 6-month leave and then I came back.
As a law enforcement officer, did you have to go through special education or training?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
I graduated the Law Enforcement Academy mandated training annually, and I attend multiple trainings in niche areas like drug investigations and interviewing, things like that.
Is that done on an annual basis?
I attend some sort of extra training every year by my choice, yes.
Okay. And again, been a law enforcement officer since 2011. Is that correct?
Actually, since 2009, with the sheriff's office since 2011. I was with the Delphi City Police from 2009 to 2011.
And in your role as a law enforcement officer, is it fair to say you've investigated all types of offenses?
The majority, yes.
I want to take you back to February 13th of 2017. Do you recall that day?
I do.
And were you on duty that day?
I was not.
What shift do you typically work?
At that time, I was working a night shift from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. as a road patrol deputy, and that would have been one of my regular scheduled nights off.
However, you came into work that night. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I want to take you to around 10 p.m. that evening. Can you tell me what happened?
I had seen something on social media about 2 missing juveniles in Delphi. I contacted now Sergeant Kingery because he was the deputy on duty that night, and he advised there was going to be some search efforts going, so I came in to help.
Did you get the identity of the 2 missing juveniles?
Yes.
Who were they?
Liberty German and Abigail Williams.
After you got that information, what did you do?
I believe I went to the sheriff's office and was helping look through some electronics that belonged to one of the girls, but they were locked, so we couldn't get into them.
Did you have information of where the girls went missing?
I was told their last known location was near the High Bridge.
After you completed your activities at the jail, what did you do next?
I went out and actively helped in the physical search.
And do you recall where you went to help with the search?
Yes, I went to, it was a private drive at the end of 625 West.
And Judge, I'd ask the court permission if the witness can come to the map so we can point that out to the jury.
You may.
Officer or detective, Giancola, I'll have you come down to the map and I'm going to have you use this pointer. Okay, I'm going to have you use this pointer and I want you to step back as far as you can so the jury can see the map. Can the jury see the map okay? Okay. Point out where you went after you left the jail, you went out to assist in the search. Is that your testimony?
That's correct.
And where did you go?
So I would have accessed this private drive here. This is 625 West, and it dead ends into a private drive that takes you into the woods. Back, it goes underneath a section of the High Bridge. I believe somewhere in this wooded area here is where I teamed up with some civilians and fire department personnel, and we began searching that area.
Can you point that area out again on the map?
Somewhere right in here, just south of the bridge, right in here.
You were still on the private drive on 625?
I parked my car there and then exited, and we were, if I recall right, we were in like a line from the creek to the drive, a line of people pushing north.
Do you know what time of night this was?
It was dark, it was midnight or so.
And this is a silly question. What were you using to search?
A flashlight.
How far around you could you see with that flashlight?
Not very far. That's why we do a chain like that, so that, because you can only see so far. So if there's a decent space between the people and the search party, but we try to make a line so that nothing gets missed.
And you believe there was a line of people from the private drive to the creek?
That's correct.
And how far did you go with that search?
I believe I was somewhere over here on the northern side of the bridge, between the creek and the bridge, when I got the notification that the search was being called off and to report back.
Once you got to that side of the bridge, and I'm going to say the northeast side of the bridge, you were still actively looking for the girls, is that correct?
Yes.
And when you got to that side of the bridge, there's something that stuck out to you in your mind, is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
So as I got underneath the private drive goes underneath the bridge, and along I guess you could almost call it like a bank, under the bridge. There's large section of limestone or cinder block. And I was climbing up on those and looking for anything. And I could see a wash of the leaves down the side of the hill that was exposing the bare ground. And that immediately just stuck out to me as odd.
And I'm going to zoom in on, and for the record, we're looking at State's Exhibit 5. Can you point out where you saw the disturbance?
Right here somewhere.
And was that at the end of the Monon High Bridge?
Yes, it's where it dead ends.
And tell me, where was the disturbance leading to?
In a downward angle from the top of it, from the area above the bridge downward.
Detective, I'm going to have you ask you to have a seat back in the witness stand, please. Yep, you can just sit that over here. Thank you. Detective, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 9 through 13. Can you take a look at those, please? Detective, have you had an opportunity to look through those?
Yes.
And it's a silly question, but what are those?
They're pictures of the north side of the end of that bridge.
Are those pictures that you took?
No, sir.
And do you know when those pictures were taken?
No, sir.
Do those pictures accurately represent what you saw on the late night or early morning 13th, February 13th and February 14th, the disturbance you testified about? Do those accurately depict what you saw?
Yes.
Judge, the state would move to admit what's been marked as State's Exhibits 9 through 13, Judge.
No objection.
All right, without objection, 9 through 13 are admitted.
And Judge, I would ask permission from the court to publish those pictures to the jury. I've stapled them together just for convenience. And I ask the court permission of that at this point.
Oh, so you have cup? Yes, you may.
I have copies for the jury, yes.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, take the time that you need to review those photographs. When you're done, just kind of look up so I know that you're finished.
And Detective, while the jury is reviewing those, I'm going to ask you to hold on to these because we're going to reference those in some future questions.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. For the record, Detective, I've handed you back the pictures that's been marked State's Exhibit 9 through 13, and I've got a copy for myself. I want to talk about a few of these pictures. I want to go to the first one. Can you hold the first picture up, State's Exhibit 9, and point to the jury where you were standing?
So if you look towards the right middle half of the picture, there's all the concrete, kind of jagged concrete. That was the area that I was standing in when I shined that section with my flashlight and could see that disturbance in the leaves.
And can you point out, you may have done that just now. Can you point out the disturbance for the jury that you're talking about?
It's right in the center of this photo, towards the top of the hill. You can see the brown, the bare ground exposed.
And I want to move on to State's Exhibit 10. Can you point out in that photo the disturbance for the jury's reference?
So this one's oriented like this would be the proper way. In the very center of the top of the photo, you can see the bare ground towards the top of the hill.
Then I want to move on to State's Exhibit 11. And in that photo, can you point out the disturbance to the jury, please?
This is from the top looking down, and it's right in the center. You can see the darker portion of the ground is where the disturbance is at.
There's a gravel portion of that picture at the bottom. Do you see that?
Yes.
Tell me what that is.
That's more or less the end of the trail. It's the railroad bed gravel.
The end of the Monon High Bridge?
Yes.
Okay, I want to move on to State's Exhibit 12. Could you point out the disturbance in that photo for the jurors?
The disturbance is towards the left upper portion. You can make it out by the brown, the darker color, showing the dirt exposed.
And can you point to the end of the Monon High Bridge in that picture?
It's more or less directly up on top of the hill from that disturbance.
And State's Exhibit 13, is that just another angle of the end of the bridge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Detective Giancola, after you noted this disturbance, what did you do next?
There was a member of the fire department with me, I believe, and I pointed it out to him, and he thought maybe it was from...
I don't want you to testify about what he thought.
Sorry.
But just you pointed out to a fire department individual that was with you?
Yeah. brought it to his attention.
Did you continue to search after that?
Yes.
And what time did you end the search? I'm going to say that night.
I believe it was after 2 a.m., sometime around 2 a.m.
On February 14th?
Yes, after midnight, yes, into the 14th.
Okay. At the time you ended the search, what did you do after that? Just go home?
Yes, I went back home, and they were going to reassemble at 7:30 in the morning, so I went home and tried to get some rest.
At the point that you ended the search, were you investigating a murder?
No.
Did you think anything bad had happened to the girls at that point?
At that point, no.
What was your thought?
Well, I'd worked in this field for a while leading up to this and had many cases like this, and not knowing who they were or anything like that, we've had several cases where juveniles will either run away or go with friends to a movie or something, and then it's like they're missing, but then they usually show back up.
So you went home that night. When did you report back to work?
7:30 in the morning?
Still on February 14th?
Yes.
Were you scheduled to be on duty that day?
No.
Okay, when you reported to work at 7:30 a.m. on the 14th, where did you go?
I went to,
Where'd you report to?
I believe I reported to the sheriff's office first.
And what did you do from there?
I did some clerical things like contacting landowners to make sure that we could get permission so search parties weren't trespassing. And I did some things like that.
At some point, were you tasked with visiting one of the landowners to see what information you could gather from that landowner?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that, please?
I was sent to an address. I believe it was off 575 West near 300 North. He had called in and said that he had numerous trail cameras on his property, and myself and another deputy were going to go there to try to pull the footage to see if we could find anything.
And what happened on your way to that residence?
On the way there, I got a call from Detective Liggett telling me to get to the cemetery off of 300 North immediate.
And Detective, would you be willing to come to the map again and point out
Yes.
the cemetery that you were directed to?
Yes. So I believe the property we were going to look at the trail cameras of is right here. It's one of these two houses. I can't quite recall. But the cemetery is right here.
And did you report to the cemetery?
I did.
And what happened when you got to the cemetery?
We parked and began walking south into the woods from the cemetery.
Let me stop you. You say we. Who was with you?
Deputy Yoder.
Okay, so you stop at the cemetery, you get out, you park, and what happens next?
We start to walk down it's a really steep wooded area down toward the creek, and we passed a female that was coming up the hill that was extremely distraught.
I'm going to zoom in, states Exhibit 5. Can you show the jury the path that you took from the cemetery down to the creek as best of your recollection?
I don't think I can show the exact path I took, but it would have been just in a southern direction towards the creek from, I believe we parked right here in the corner, and there was kind of a fence we had to kind of go around, and then we walked straight south towards the creek.
And did you walk directly to the creek?
Yes.
And on your way to the creek, did you see the bodies of the girls?
No, sir.
Why were you going to the creek?
We were told that members of the search party had located something there, possibly bodies. So I knew they were down there, and I just needed to get there to them. And they were down kind of near the water's edge.
And did you walk to the water's edge?
Yes.
And when you got there, did you encounter other people?
Yes.
How many other people did you encounter?
I believe there were 4 people on the north side of the creek, and then there was a few people on the south side of the creek, directly across from where we were standing.
And was Deputy Yoder with you as well?
Yes.
Okay, when you got to the creek, what did you see?
I had to ask everybody, point me what are you talking about? And everybody was pointing into the water kind of directly in front of me. And that's when I looked over and I could see a multicolored shirt, and I believe a tennis shoe was stuck in like the roots that come out into the creek from the creek bank.
And that was in the water?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to have a seat back at the witness stand, please. Detective, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 14 through 17. Can you please take a look at those exhibits or what have been marked as exhibits? I'm sorry, Detective, have you had the opportunity to look through those photos?
Yes, sir.
Do those accurately depict what you saw when you got to the creek on February 14th, 2017?
Yes.
Did you take these photos?
No, sir.
Do you know when these photos were taken?
I do not.
And are they a true representation of what you observed on that day at the creek?
Yes.
Judge, State would move to admit what's been marked as State's Exhibits 14 through 17, Judge.
No objection.
All right, without objection, 14 through 17 inclusive are admitted.
And Judge, I'd ask the court permission to publish those to the jury.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, I want to draw your attention to the first picture. Can you point out to the jury where you were at when you approached the creek, where you were standing?
So in the picture, you can kind of tell that where the picture's taken is creek level, and then it kind of, the topography kind of goes up and it's elevated. I was standing on the elevated portion looking down at that debris that's in the very, very center of this photo.
I want to move on to the next picture. Can you describe that picture for the jury?
This would more or less be my vantage point from that I just described of where I was standing, facing down.
Can you point out where you saw the clothes at in that picture?
They're on the left section of this photograph, in this rooty kind of debris looking material in the water.
And then the next two photos, can you describe those to the jury, please?
Again, in this one, this would be like my vantage point of looking down into the water when I first got there. You can see like a multicolored piece of clothing on the left section of that brush. And then there's like a black and white Nike shoe in the center.
And then move to the last picture, please. Is that a close-up of what you observed in the creek on that day?
Yes, it is.
And can you point out the shoe that you saw?
The shoe's right in the center. It's upside down, white sole, and I think it's a white Nike shoe.
And you mentioned the multicolor or tie-dye shirt that you saw. Can you point that out in the photo?
That's in the top left portion of this debris in this photograph.
Thank you, Detective. After you observed the clothes in the creek, what happened next?
There was some conversation there was people across the creek kind of hollering to us. There was the searchers on our side of the creek were talking to us. And one of the searchers on our side of the creek said that they believed the girls' bodies were back behind us a little ways, and kind of to the northeast of where we were at.
When you say back behind you and to the northeast, you meaning this direction?
Yes.
Okay. On your walk down to the creek, did you see the bodies?
No.
After the search party members told you the bodies were behind you, did you turn around and look?
Yes.
Could you see them from your vantage point?
I could see something that kind of stuck out like a whitish color, but I couldn't tell what it was from where I was at, and I still kind of needed them to direct me in the, I asked them, was it over here? Yes, and I went that direction.
Did Deputy Yoder go with you?
Yes.
And what did you see?
The bodies of both girls, deceased.
Can you describe what you saw?
One was nude, the other was clothed.
And did you recognize who they were?
Yes.
How did you recognize who they were?
Based off of photographs that were circulating around.
Were they deceased?
Yes.
Did you notice any injuries on the bodies?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Both had large lacerations to their throat.
Did you notice blood in other areas?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that, please?
Both had a substantial amount of blood on their person and underneath them.
How close did you get to the bodies?
Maybe about 10 yards.
When you approached the bodies, was anyone else around them?
No.
And after you observed the bodies, did you attempt any life-saving measures for the two girls?
No, sir.
Why not?
It was apparent that they were deceased.
Once you saw where the bodies were located, do you have an estimate of how far away you were from them when you left the cemetery and walked down to the creek initially?
It couldn't have been more than 30 or 40 yards.
And during your walk down to the creek, did you notice them at all?
No, sir.
Upon discovering the bodies, what did you do next?
I immediately contacted, I had Deputy Yoder begin taking down the names of the people that were on our side of the creek. And I contacted Detective Liggett via telephone immediately and told him what I had discovered.
What did you do after that?
I stood by to make sure no one accessed the crime scene until the proper people got there.
During your time as you're standing there, did anyone get near the bodies?
No.
Did anyone access the area where you were standing, meaning within 10 yards of the bodies?
No.
How long was it before other officers arrived?
It was not very long at all. Within minutes, some troopers started showing up, and then investigators started showing up.
When you say troopers, do you mean officers with the Indiana State Police?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
And were officers with the Indiana State Police the first to arrive?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Once they arrived, what did they do?
One of them began a scene log to log everybody that's in the scene, and the other began to put up crime scene tape to preserve the scene.
And during your time you were there, once the crime scene tape was up, did any other individuals enter beyond that crime scene tape?
No.
Once ISP troopers and other detectives got there, what did you and Deputy Yoder do?
Once the proper investigators were there, we signed out, left the crime scene, and then I believe it was Detective Liggett directed us to the opposite side of the creek, kind of where I was searching the night before, to make sure no one tried to access the crime scene from that side.
And I'm going to direct your attention to State's Exhibit 5 again. When you say the other side of the creek, do you mean this side?
Yes, sir.
And the night before you testified, you were searching over in this area?
Yes.
When you went to the other side of the creek upon Detective Liggett's direction, did you use the lane or the private drive at 625 to get to where you were going?
I did, yes.
And what area, where did you stop?
Just past the bridge.
So this area right here,
Yes.
okay. And what did you do once you got there?
We made sure that everybody had cleared out, and I believe I talked to Shane Hagan briefly, and once I talked to him, we made sure everybody was out of that area and no one else was to come back into that area.
What was the point of stationing there?
Because you could access the crime scene just by crossing the water.
And so, was it for crime scene security?
Yes.
Okay. How long did you stay there?
I stayed there all night.
Until the break of light the next day? So all night, the 14th, until the
Sometime around,
morning of the 15th?
yes, sometime around 8 or 9 in the morning, I think I got relieved.
When you were relieved, was it light out?
Yes.
Okay. During the time you were stationed, make sure I make this question clear. During the time you were stationed here for scene security, was there traffic in and out on 625?
No.
Were there any vehicles egressing or progressing down 625 during the time you were there?
No.
Were there any people?
No.
Did you see any people travel across the creek during the time you were there?
No.
Officer, back in February 13th of 2007, were you carrying a firearm?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what kind of firearm? And
A Glock 17,
can you tell me what caliber that firearm is?
9 millimeters.
If you know, was everybody in the Carroll County Sheriff's Department carrying the same gun?
Yeah. We had just recently switched to the Glock 17.
Were they all 9 millimeters?
Yes.
Okay. And you're confident of that?
Very confident, yes.
Okay. Do you know when you switched over?
I don't know when. It was within the year before that.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Baldwin?
Thank you, Judge. That, can we go back to 14? Do you have those?
I do not, sir. No.
Oh, I'm sorry, not 14. I want to go back to 9. I'm publishing to you the exhibit.
Thank you.
If you could go through that packet, tell me when you're ready. Would you agree with me that those photographs, which are right next to the bridge, the end of the bridge, do not do a terrific job of really detailing how steep that area is from the top of the bridge down to that access road?
I feel like you can tell that it's fairly steep based on this photograph, one of these photographs, yes.
It is steep. Is it fairly steep?
Yes.
And I mean, it would be, to get down there, it would be wise to be holding on to trees and so forth as you're going down to make sure that you don't tumble down or fall. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, here, I'll take that back from you. Thank you. And just so that it's clear, so if I'm facing the high bridge at that end, the south end, toward, right now, let's say I'm facing the high bridge that way toward the Freedom Bridge. Okay? You got that in your brain?
No, sir, not really.
Okay, sorry. So if I'm traveling south on the high bridge and I get to the end like this, and then I turn around like that, and I'm facing back toward the beginning, are you with me now?
Sure, yes.
So just to be clear, where those photos were taken, where the kind of the dirt was, that's over here, going down that way, right?
It's off the main section of the,
To the right?
if I follow you correctly, which, can you show me on the map maybe?
Sure. It's to the, no. When you get off that bridge, those are to the right, over to the west, east of the bridge, correct?
Yes.
All right. And that's where those slide marks are, to the east.
Yes.
And then over on the other side, there's kind of it's not as steep for some reason, is it?
Over on the other side as of
The bridge. You could go down to the right, it's steeper than if you went down this way, and it's less steep.
I can't recall what the other side of the bridge looks like.
Okay, but based upon the steepness of that area where you saw the slide marks, you weren't surprised to see slide marks there, I guess.
I was surprised. That's why it was brought to my attention when I saw it with my flashlight. It just seemed odd.
Okay. And just so we're clear, underneath the leaves and where the slide marks were done is dirt, right?
Yes.
Okay. You said that you stopped this search around 2 a.m.
If I recall right, yes, sir. Sometime a little after 2.
That's before 4:33 a.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
You said that you were on your way to get trail cam video a second ago,
Yes, sir.
but then you got called before that.
Yes.
Did you ever go get that trail cam video later?
No, sir.
Do you know if anybody did?
I am not aware of.
And just so the jury understands, when you go down that from the cemetery down to where the girls were found, that's also got some steepness to it, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
But once you get down to where the girls are, it's relatively flat.
Yes.
And the people that you encountered near the creek when you came down from the cemetery area, do you know from where they had come?
I do not.
Were you aware if one of the people that you had encountered had seen the multicolored shirt, for example, from on the other side of the creek?
Was I aware that someone on my side of the creek had seen it from the other side? Is that what you're...
Yeah. No, that was not a great question on my part, so let me try again.
You're fine.
There were people on the opposite side of the creek, on the south side of the creek.
Yes.
So you're on this side, and the multicolored shirt was in the creek right here in this area, and some people are over on the other side. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it's your understanding that people all the way on the other side saw the multicolored shirt from the other side?
That was my understanding later when talking to one of them, yes.
pretty visible, the multicolored shirt. Would you agree?
From where I was at, yeah, from right off the bank.
And if somebody else had seen it from the other side,
Well, I can't attest to if it's visible to someone else or not from.
that's fair. You had testified that when you saw the two girls, that both had, I wrote it down, substantial blood on their person. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are you sure that both had substantial blood on their person, or was it just one?
As I recall seeing it, yes. There was a substantial amount of blood around both of them.
Okay, was it around both of them or on both of them?
As I recall, Liberty German had it all over her and around her, and Abigail Williams, it was just in the general area of her wound and beside her.
Yeah, it wasn't on her person here that you could see. Right.
I don't recall if I remember seeing it on her body.
Could you tell whether there was wet marks, like, you know, like when you go into a creek and it's up to here and you get out and you'll see wet marks from here down and it's dry from up here? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Could you see if there was wet marks, noticeable wet marks from any part of the body down that separated itself from drier marks up above?
I recall noting that the clothing on Abigail Williams had appeared to be wet, but as far as a water line, if you will, I don't recall anything like that.
And when you say appeared to be wet, that was just from your visualization? But
Yes.
you didn't go and touch and see?
No, sir.
And what part, you don't recall what part seemed, appeared to be wet?
I want to say the pants. That's what I recall. The pants were wet, appeared to be wet.
And when you were going from the cemetery down to the creek, that was because you had heard that somebody was at the creek and wanted to talk to you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So your mission was to go from the cemetery down to the creek to find these people. Is that right?
That's correct.
It wasn't really to be looking around for anything. You had a mission. I'm going down there to meet these people.
That they had located something. That's what I was told.
So you weren't really looking, when you said earlier you didn't see the bodies, you weren't really looking for the bodies at that time.
I was looking, but I was looking for the people and to find out where I'm going.
People down at the creek. All right. Did you say that you called, who did you say that you called from when you saw the bodies?
Detective Liggett.
And did your phone work?
Yes.
And is that your own cell phone, or is that a...
I don't recall if I was using my department cell phone at that time or my personal cell phone at that time.
Okay. Do you know what your cell phone carrier is for your personal cell phone back then?
AT&T.
AT&T. Okay. And do you know what the cell phone provider is for the, I don't know if you know this or not, but do you know what the Carroll County cell phone provider is?
Now it's FirstNet, which is through AT&T. I don't remember if we had switched to that yet at that point, but now it's FirstNet.
Okay. Well, do you know what it was before?
Judge, objection. Asked and answered.
Sustained.
No other questions. Thank you.
Mr. McClelland,
Thank you, Judge. Detective Giancola, Mr. Baldwin asked you a question about the area where the girls were found was flat. Do you recall that question?
Yes.
The area around where the girls were found, was that flat?
I guess you got to figure out what's your definition of flat in the woods. I mean, nothing's perfectly flat in the woods, but compared to the hill down, like he asked me, yes, it wasn't a hill.
Right. But they were in a place that at least you didn't notice them on your walk down from the cemetery to the creek, correct?
Correct.
And you weren't able to see the bodies completely when you looked back from the creek to where they were located.
That's correct.
So where they were found, was it an elevated position or was it a flat area that was lower in elevation?
That whole area is, like I said, your definition of flat or whatever, but it's that whole area has low topography up and down but it's not steep.
Okay.
But there's from the creek flooding and things like that, but they were in an area that was kind of a dip in the surface.
So when you talk about kind of rolling, I'm going to say peaks and valleys, although I understand it's not mountains. They were found in a valley.
Correct.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Mr. Baldwin,
No other questions. Thank you.
Does anybody on the jury have any questions for Detective Giancola? With counsel approach?
Sidebar conference conducted.
I'm going to stand here so they don't see me talk. No, you're fine. We're fine, you're fine. You stated that electronics were being viewed February 13th, 2017, before going to search for the girls initially. What were the electronics being viewed?
That's a good question.
Great question.
They've had good questions.
They really have. They're very thoughtful. Were the pants wet from creek water or urine from body relaxing with followed by release of body fluids?
He can't answer that question.
No?
Probably calls for too much speculation.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, so no to that one. But keep that in mind as we get into, if there is anybody that can.
Inaudible.
I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter to me.
Inaudible. I'm okay with just inaudible.
Okay. We'll just ask the one.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sidebar conference concluded.
Detective, you stated that electronics were being viewed 2/13/17 before going to search for the girls initially. What were the electronics being viewed?
I believe one item was an iPad or a tablet of some sort, and it was locked, so we could only see like phone numbers of missed calls on because it must have been connected via the network or something. And Detective Liggett and I called those numbers, and it was just ended up being people, family trying to find out where they're at. But that's all we were able to determine at that point.
Any follow-up, Mr. McClellan?
When you were doing that, where were you at?
The sheriff's office.
Here in Delphi?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you know who the iPad belonged to?
I don't recall.
Okay, I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Mr. Baldwin?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Detective. You may step down, and you may call your next witness.